everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, we talk about all things homesteading, homemaking, and just the journey to a slower, more simple life. In today's video, I'm really excited because if you didn't know, this is my very first year canning anything at all. So I want to give a little tour of what I preserved, what I canned up this year. I don't know about you, but I personally love watching like pantry tours. It's so inspiring, and although mine is quite small in comparison, I thought maybe some would enjoy because it's kind of realistic for a lot of people. It kind of shows what a starting point really looks like. And so, although I agree it is super inspiring to see the pantries with tons and tons of different food, it may also be inspiring to just see what you can do your first year when you're first starting out, and that it still is great and makes you feel successful. So I'm going to take you downstairs where I have all of my pantry items, and I'll also give you a little tour of what we got in the freezer right now as well. But with that, let's go ahead and go check it out. So forgive my lighting, but I'm in a basement. Definitely not a finished basement. It is quite cold down here. It doesn't get freezing down in the basement, but in the winter it gets very cold. I'd say 40. I know there's a thermometer somewhere around here, but I'd say it probably even gets down to like 40 Fahrenheit. But as you can see, I have some canning items on these shelves, and so I'll go ahead and show you what I was able to can up this year. So let's start with what I canned first and then go to what I canned last. One of the first things I canned were pickles from cucumbers that I grew in the garden, and I did both dill and bread and butter pickles. So these are my bread and butter ones, these are my dill ones, and they are very good. I have 5 bread and butter left, and I have 4 dill left. And we canned those together on this channel, so if you are interested in how to make some of those pickles and can them, then you can watch that video. But I don't remember exactly how many I made. It wasn't a huge amount, but it still felt really cool, really successful, because I haven't grown cucumbers in years because I'm not a huge pickle eater. A lot of people eat pickles way more than I do, but I do like a fresh cucumber, and I got a lot of cucumbers. I only had 1 or 2 plants, and I had so many cucumbers that I kind of needed to make pickles, and like I said, they're really good, so I'm so happy with that. Then from all of here, these 3 rows, and down here, all of this is all applesauce. And it is really delicious. We also did this in a video, so you can check that out as well if you want to know how to make that. But it's really good applesauce. I purchased a bunch of apples from a local apple farm, so nice, organic, beautiful apples. I personally like Macintosh the most, but you can use all kinds of varieties. And it made a delicious applesauce that I'm so happy to have so much of. So if we have 3 rows of 3, that would be 9 up here, and then 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 plus 9. We have 21 things left, and I know there's 1 or 2 in the fridge because I like to kind of make them cold before eating them because it tastes better cold to me. So that's how much we have left of that. So hopefully, I think that will get us through the year probably. My fiance was eating tons of applesauce, and of course, after I make a bunch of applesauce homemade, then he kind of loses the taste for it for a little bit. That's just how it goes. But that's okay, we'll still definitely use it up. Right here, I finally got all of those tomatoes on the counter ripe, and they are canned up as diced tomatoes. This I am really happy with as well. I've been growing tomatoes for many years, but this was one of my best years, even though I had such a deer problem. I'd say the year before might have been a little bit better, but pretty equal, honestly. So I grew quite a bit of tomatoes, and I was able to preserve, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and I know we've already used at least 4, if not more. So that's a decent amount for my first year. And with the deer problem, like I said, my hope was to purchase a big bulk thing of tomatoes, but it seems like everybody had a deer problem because my local place that I was planning to purchase a bushel or more of tomatoes from, they kind of ran out and they had problems with bears and other things getting into their gardens. But I am really happy with it, honestly. These are all homegrown tomatoes and they're on the shelf and they can be put into pasta sauce or broken down for pizza sauce or whatever else you might want to. Salsa, chili, all kinds of things. I use a lot of tomato, so to have my own diced tomato products for those kinds of things is so nice. It's so nice. And last but not least are my broths that I canned up. Now, this is something that I'm super proud of. I obviously did not grow the chicken or the beef that I used to make the broth here on my suburban little house, but I bought local parts from my meat guy, and I will show you when I show you the freezer, I still have a huge, like 45-pound bag of chicken backs that I can use to make more broth once this gets used up. But I made like 60 something things of chicken broth using chicken backs and chicken necks. I bought 2 45-pound bags of those parts and I only used one of it and I made like 60 something things of broth. Now, to put that in kind of a perspective, the broth that I could get at the store, not even like organic or good, just normal broth, chicken broth, is over $3, truthfully. It's closer to $4. But even if we say it's $3, I did the math. The cost of how much I spent on the chicken parts, and even adding the cost of the jars, which are reusable, so it's not like I'm just going to use it once and get rid of it. I can reuse it many times. The cost of those things, and even the cost of the water I used in it, still is a cheaper broth than if I went to the store to buy it, and it doesn't have any of those weird stuff in it, like caramel color or weird preservatives that are in it. So that is amazing. That blows my mind a little bit. I guess that's not adding in, like, if I was to pay myself for doing it, but this is what I do, so I'm not really factoring in my time, like, what else am I gonna do? But to me, that really is kind of incredible, and it kind of shows that the economy right now, the way the prices of things are so skyrocketing, I mean, it's crazy that you can make it better for cheaper. So that's a good thing, really, because the goal is to have better food and provide more for ourselves instead of relying on others. And a lot of the time you consider that that probably is going to be a little bit more of a cost up front, at least. Usually it pays for itself within time, but up front it's usually going to be more. But in this case, it's not, which is crazy. But I'll just give you a closer look at all the broth. So here is some. So we have some here, we have some here, if you can see, and we have some down here. And that is all chicken broth. And you can see there's varying colors. You might wonder why that is. It has nothing to do with how good of a broth it is. It just has to do with if I put onion peelings in it or not. If you don't know, yellow onion peeling is kind of a natural dye. It is a natural dye, and it adds that orange flavor to flavor. It doesn't add orange flavor. It adds orange color to broth if you put in broth. And I also use it to dye eggs for Easter, and you can use it to dye clothes even too if you have something that can keep the color in, because it will wash out. But anyway, that's just what that is. If you see the different colors, it's just if I had onion peelings to throw in that batch or not. But like I said, I made over 60 quarts of chicken broth, and I've shown how to make broth in a video before as well if you want to see that process. But it took me some time. It took me about 3 days of doing it to finish all of the broth and get it all canned, but it was definitely worth it. I've already used some, planning to use more tonight in a soup, and it is delicious. And like I said, it was about 45 pounds of chicken byproduct parts, basically. It was chicken necks and chicken backs. If you want to know the cost I paid $90 for two 45-pound bags. So that would be 45 for 90 pounds of chicken parts. So it was like $1 a pound, essentially. That's the price I got. So look around, maybe reach out to local farms or something and see if they have parts like feet, necks, backs that they don't want to use, because things like that can go to waste, and they make excellent broth. And like we just went over, cheaper than you can buy in the store, cheaper than the cheap stuff, let alone if you're trying to get organic or stuff without bad stuff in it, you know? Lastly, I have my humble little thing of beef broth down here. I got some beef bones as well for free. The guy just gave it to me, but it was just a little bag, so I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I made more, and then I've already used some, but 8 things of beef broth I have, and they're just sitting there. But that is everything that I canned my very first year canning food. I got my canner back this summer. I can't remember exactly. I think July, I want to say. And I think I did pretty well. I think I did pretty well my very first year with the space I have to grow fruits and vegetables and the things that I outsourced. I'm very happy with it. So I hope that can give you, if you're completely new or have never done it before, I hope that can give you some inspiration to maybe start, to just try, or to feel better about what you're doing, because it's just about doing something. It's not about doing everything. It's just about trying your best and doing what you can with what you have available to you at this time. But I also want to give you a quick little look in my freezer to see what we have in there. I haven't purchased anything since October, the beginning of October, so it's low. We'll have to get some more stuff in December, but I'll go ahead and give you a little peek in there just for fun. So let's open it up. So first I threw the last couple things of tomatoes in the freezer. My plan is to use it thawed out to just make salsa or something like that, just a big batch load. I also have 5 bags of 2 cups of pumpkin puree. This is the pumpkin puree from the pumpkins that I grew. I have a video on that as well. We have multiple bags of beautiful steaks that I cut myself from a cut brisket, I believe. We have some bacon. We have a few bags left of chicken tenders. We have a whole chicken, a whole roast. We have a 15+ pound turkey that this is going to be for Thanksgiving. And a pro tip, for every about 5 pounds that your turkey weighs, you want to give it a day to thaw. And turkeys have to thaw in the fridge because if you leave them out on the counter, they will thaw on the outside faster than the inside, obviously, and they can start going kind of bad on the outside before the inside's even thawed. But so for my 15+ pound turkey, I'm going to give it 3 if not 4 days in the fridge to thaw out before Thanksgiving. So pro tip, make sure you take your turkey out. And lastly, I still have packages of moose burger from last year's hunting season that we're starting to get close to the end of it, unfortunately, but I'm so blessed that we have been able to eat from it from so long. It was getting cold down there. I'm glad to be back upstairs. But thank you for joining me for that quick little video. I hope you enjoyed it and could get something from it. If you like this video and would like to see more, please consider subscribing so we can build this community of like-minded folk. I do hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!